Want to take a minute and talk about something called string slicing. Remember the other day how I said strings are lists? And what that means is that you can iterate through them. You can loop through using a for loop to go letter by letter. But the other thing you can do that's really powerful is called string slicing. And string slicing works like this. Okay. So if I have a string called str text and I want to slice it, or I want to take part of that string, I can use this construct to produce a slice of that string. And so it uses the indexes of the string, the start index, the end index, and the step integer. So what that means is x is where do you want to start the slice? If you have 0, it'll start at the beginning. If you leave this empty, it'll start at the beginning. Y is where do you want it? What is the index where you want it to end the slice? It can be any integer. Both of these can be any integer. Z is the step, meaning do you want every letter? If it's 1, it's every letter. If it's 2, it's every second letter. If it's 3, it's every third letter. Why would you want to do that? Who knows? Maybe you're decoding something. Maybe there's all kinds of different reasons that you might want to do it step. This is probably the most infrequently used, but it is there for you. And one of the powerful things about this is you can throw a negative number in here and you can reverse the slice. If you go -1, it will step backwards. So I could say 0 to 10 to get the first 10 characters of the string, or first 11 characters of a string. And if I put -1, it will give them to me in reverse order. So let's look at this in a coding situation. Okay, so here's my string. And if I want to print just a slice of this string, obviously if I do this, it's going to give me the whole string. If I wanted the first 5 characters, I could do this, or I could do this. First 5 characters, print, oops, wrong one, there it is, this, and it would include that space. So the first 7 characters would be this is. Okay, this is a string. Same thing, if I put a 0 here, it starts at 0. If I put a 3, it'll give me from the 4th character on to the 7th character. If I put 2, let's start at 0 and let's go all the way to the end. Okay, if I leave that blank, it'll go to the end of this string. Okay, this is every other character in the string for the whole thing. So T, I, space, S, space, space, S, R, N. Okay, so S, A, S, R, N. There you go. So I could do that. I could get every 4th character. Again, is that really used? I don't know. Maybe you have something encoded in some way that you need to blow some characters away at an interval. But the really nice thing that you can do is if you want to take a string and reverse it, you can leave the first 2 parameters empty and put a -1 for the step, and it'll just give you the whole string reversed. Super handy, super handy. So here's another interesting twist On the first two parameters, I can also use negative numbers. So if I put -5 on here, what that means is the start of the slice is going to be 5 characters in from the end. So if I go -5 blank blank, it's going to give me the last 5 characters of that string. Okay? If I do -5 to -2, it'll give me the characters from -5 to -2. If I do this, it gives me nothing because that range. This always has to be the start. This always has to be the end. The start has to be before the end. If I say from -5 to here, there's nothing in between that because they're miss each other. Okay? So even if you're going reverse, okay, if you're going reverse, it works, but I wouldn't recommend it. I would still go from the start to the end. Right? I guess if it's going -1, it wants them to be reversed. That's interesting. I never really realized that. So if you're reversing it, if you're going backwards, you want it to go reversed. So this is giving me starting at -5 and going to 1, right? So it's going to here all the way to right there. Good Lord, it's confusing. How many times will you use this in your life? Maybe once. How many times will you use just the reverse of string? If you do anything with string manipulation, you will use that, guaranteed, because it's super useful. And in fact, I'm going to give you a use case for it right now.